So first things first is, if you want, we can make a new project for ourselves. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to call that project Breakout 4, because this is period 4. What do you think of that name? It's going to ask me if I want to create a module. I do not want to create a module. Okay. Now I got this little guy in here called Breakout 4. And what I'm going to do is, or you guys could do, is you could go back to your old Pong folder, and there's a utilities folder in there which has GDB5 in it. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that little package. Go down here and copy it. Okay. And then I'm just going to come into my new source folder and paste it inside the new source folder. Where is that? New paste. And then what you should see there is you should see that you've got that utilities package with GDB5 inside of it. Okay. You guys need a little more time? Are you guys all? Yeah.
Quick question. So I originally had clips on my computer. I switched my Mac. What version are you downloading?
Whichever one you want.
Gotcha.
Okay. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Is everybody caught up with me? Yes, right. Java project. When you create the file, I went File, New, and I said Java project. Guys, by the way, some nice ladies brought us some snacks today. And they brought us a cup of noodles, which was very cool, but also interesting. I've never brought that before. I named it Breakout. What's that? Into the source folder. So you're basically taking your utilities package from another folder, from your Pong folder. You're going to copy the package and then paste the package into the source folder. Okay. You could also grab the package and drag it right into the source folder. The only problem with that is it would leave your Pong game without that package, so you couldn't run your Pong game anymore. But if you just copy and paste the folder, then it should be there. How you guys doing? How you guys doing over there? We've got GDB5. Taking a little while to get everything started up. I'm just right-click copy the package utilities, called utilities, and then paste it into the source folder right here. I'm also now going to make a new package in the source folder, and I'm going to call that package Breakout. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know what Breakout is. Maybe not everybody knows. Atari Breakout. Yeah, we'll go over that in a sec. We'll go over that in a sec. There's an interesting story where, so I guess Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. I guess Steve Jobs was working for Atari, doing some work for Atari, and there was a guy there that wanted to make the Breakout game, and he wanted it to be done in something like 4 days or 5 days, which was an impossible timeline, right? And he wanted it to be made with less than, say, 20 transistors or something like that. He said, for every transistor under 20, I'll give you an extra $500 or something like that. So Steve Jobs doesn't really have the sort of programming like chops to do this, but the guy at Atari knew that he was really good friends with Steve Wozniak and knew that he would go to Steve Wozniak, right? So he goes to Steve Wozniak and tells him about this project and doesn't tell him about the bonus, right? He just tells him you have to do it with less than 16 chips, right? And so Wozniak does this thing in 4 days. Like, he doesn't sleep 4 days. He's able to make this thing, which is a miracle. Able to make it with like 15 transistors, which is like nobody thought you could do this thing. And Jobs does not give Wozniak any share of like the bonus, right? Just keeps the bonus for himself. And then Wozniak finds out about it later, but Wozniak has a great attitude about it. He's just like, oh yeah, like honestly, like I didn't really care about the money. Like I just thought it was a cool, project to do and stuff. Although Steve Wozniak did, of course, become a mega billionaire. In large part, too. Thanks to Steve Jobs. Okay, how you guys doing? You guys caught up? Everybody caught up? Okay, so we have this Breakout package. Inside of it, I'm going to make a class, and I'm going to call the class Game Runner. You can call it whatever you want. It will have a main method. Make sure you have a main method, right? Now, this is going to be our class which extends GDB5, right? Extends GDB5. Those of you that are worried about importing things, don't worry about it. Just type the stuff in and then come over here, and it's going to tell you, oh, you know what? You got to import GDB5, and then it's going to tell you you have to add the unimplemented methods. There they are, our friends, update and draw. What does it mean that we have to add these unimplemented methods? Well, basically it means that GDB5 is an abstract class which has abstract methods which are declared but must be defined with classes that inherit or extend GDB5. And so here we are. Remember that update refreshes at about 60 frames per second, which is nice and steady. That's where you want all the logic to go in your game and stuff. And then this guy is going to refresh at approximately 3,000 frames per second. So this is a lot more demanding on the processor, and you want to be careful about what you're putting in there. You don't want to overload the draw method, right? Okay, so we got these two things. How do we get started? How do we know we're on the right track? Well, let's make a game runner object. We'll call it G. And then let's run the start method, which basically starts the thread in GDB5 and kind of gets us going, gets us rocking and rolling. So let's try this here and see what happens. Now, your window probably looks a little different than this. It probably looks a little wider, right? Because we came from Pong. It might even say Pong in the top left corner, right? So let's go to GDB5 real quick and make the changes. What I did in GDB5 is I made the X value 800. I made the Y value 900. You guys don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. And then I also made the title here Breakout. I made the title here Breakout. Now, again, you can experiment a little later. The reason I changed it is that the Breakout, the classic Breakout, is a little bit more vertical, a little more narrow than Pong. But you can make yours wide if you want. Okay, so how you guys doing? How you guys doing? Does everybody have a nice black screen to look at right now? Does everybody have something that looks like this? We good? We good?
No, can you show us the code again?
Wait, I can't even go to the website.
Your Pong is running?
Yeah.
It's probably because you don't have a main method which is actually working. So make sure you go to Game Runner and make sure you have a main method and make sure there's no errors in it. Yeah, in the last class someone didn't have a main method in GDB5 or Game Runner. You need to have a main method.
For some reason, GDB5 doesn't. It says there's a cannot be resolved through type. Oh, because I didn't import
Oh, graphics or?
Look, I have to import it.
Well, you really should get a little red. You should get a little red mark on the left, and if you click on the red mark, it should give you the suggestions, and you just click on the suggestion, it automatically does it for you.
Yeah, the restrictions still allow. I only changed the premise for the title.
That's it?
Yeah.
I can't even go on the website. Can I get come for a hotspot or something? Because he said every time I go to the site and I try downloading it, just get back to safety or something. Yeah, I'm unable to.
Yeah, try again.
Then you're using hotspot.
I thought on your own computers you could do whatever.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Let's make now our brick class. This is what I want to help you get set up with today is sort of the brick array because we really haven't gone over arrays. So I'm just going to kind of throw this array at you and let you kind of play with it. And I think maybe that'll be a good way for you to learn. So here we go. We're going brick class. We don't have a main method in the brick class. It's just going to look something like this, right? And once again, we are going to use our little friend, the rectangle, which hopefully you guys got a little comfortable with in the Pong game, right? So once again, I'm going to click on this little arrow guy, right? And then it's going to say import rectangle, and I'm going to do that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just give this one to you. I'm just going to throw this one out there. But I want to create a field called color for my brick. So I want to be able to control the color of my bricks, basically. Yeah, within that project. Class called brick. Okay, so let's make a constructor for brick, right? It's going to take 5 arguments. a y value, an x value, a y value, a width, and a height. Yeah. And actually a color. Let's make it take a color argument as well. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Now, I did get this error message up here on color, right? When I tried to create that field, let's click on it. It says, hey, you got to import this color module, okay? So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Got something like that, right? Something like that. You guys good to go? All right, does anybody have a guess as to what they think I might want to do next inside this constructor? Anybody? Anybody? Donglin, anybody? Donglin, what do you think? Okay, I do want to set the color field to C, right? Not C equals color, but color equals C. But I also want to invoke the super constructor, right? And I don't know if you remember, we looked at the Java API rectangle when we were doing Pong, and we looked and saw there were several different types of constructors, but there was one super constructor that took an x, a y, a width, and a height as arguments. And so we're gonna call that super constructor. When you call this super constructor, it does have to be the first line. So I can't say color equals C and then super. I have to say super and then I could say color equals C. But yes, I then want to set color to be C. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? And then I'm going to create a draw method for my brick. And I just highly recommend that you create each sort of individual draw methods for all your objects that you want to draw. It's going to give you a lot more control over how you draw that particular object because you can just go into the class and kind of configure it as you want. So I like to nickname my graphics 2D object at PB for paintbrush. And then once again, it's going to say, hey, what is that 2D thing you're referencing? So let's import it. Boom. And now I'm going to say pb.setColor, right? Set color. And the color that I'm going to give it is the field, right? The field that belongs to each brick. So each brick has its own color, bless you. And the draw method will call on that field. And then if you want to draw, remember what draw is going to do is it's going to kind of create the outline of the rectangle. But in this case, I'm just going to say fill, and you could, if you want an outline, you could do draw too, right? Now, I got to put, bless you, I got to put an object inside of fill. What's the object that I'm going to put inside of fill? This, yes, yes. Someone in the last class said you want to put a rectangle in there. Absolutely, you want to put a rectangle in there? What rectangle do we have? Well, we have a brick rectangle, and how do we reference it in the class itself is this, right? So let's take a look and see if this works as expected. Okay, let's take a look and see if this works as expected. Does everybody have this, by the way? Do you need me to slow down? You guys all right? We're going to go to there in a sec. But does everybody have this part so far? Okay, I'm going to pause just for a sec.
I can't take one. I can't take one because I would have access to that. So the GDB5 package, right? That's what I'm saying.
I think there's somewhere still on the agenda page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm skipping. Oh, the thing itself.
All right, everyone's got this, right? If not, maybe just copy from your neighbor real quick. Or better yet, if you don't have this, or if you do already have this, can you go to Game Runner, try to create a brick and draw a brick? How about that? Why don't you guys try to create a brick and draw a brick, and see if you can do that, and then I'll be there in a sec, and then I'll go through it with you if you don't have it already, while we're waiting for everyone to get this, okay? So either you're finishing copying this, or if you have this already, go to Game Runner and see if you can make a brick and draw a brick. See what happens. I'm going to draw the brick in the top left corner of the screen. So that could be a challenge too. Let's draw in the top left corner of the screen. You draw wherever you want, I guess.
So you said top left-hand corner?
Yeah.
That's your turn.
All right. Did everybody have the last page? Anybody need me to go back? Last page.
And what are you making the brick?
Oh, whatever you want. Okay, so I was forced to import color here. What do you guys think about that? That's me creating a brick field. Right, it's now a field in our Game Runner class here, right? And then let's try to draw it. So that's going to look like b.draw, and I have to put a graphics 2D object in there. The graphics 2D object I have to work with is the parameter for the method, which is called win. So guys, what do you think about that? How do you like them apples? Guys, go ahead and try to run that. What happens? All good? All good. If you're having some problems, maybe try to take a look at your neighbor, see what they're doing. Scroll down. I just said, yeah, b.draw. In the draw method, yeah. So the part that I really want to help you with is creating the brick array, because that's the thing that you haven't seen. So, I mean, honestly, up till now, this is exactly like the stuff we've done in Pong, right? It should just be like, it's been a while since you probably looked at it, but as we're doing it, hopefully, like, it kind of comes back to you a little bit, and you're, like, kind of understanding how this is working and stuff, okay?
Oh, that's cool. That's because I edited my own DB5 for Pong.
Uh-oh.
Wait, what?
Oh, no. Wild man.
Like I did it when I was calling.
Yeah.
When I actually did it.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I didn't change it on my
I wouldn't make any major changes. Okay, so you guys ready? You guys ready for the brick array? So first things first is I'm just going to get rid of this guy. Really don't need it. I'm just going to comment it out, or you could delete it. So this is what it looks like to make an array in Java. You just use these little brackets here. And unlike Python, if we're going to initialize this thing, we need to say how big it is, what size it is. So my particular starting array is going to be size 8. I'm going to put 8 bricks in there, okay? So that's what that line should look like. I'm going to create some fields up here to work with. I'm going to create a brick width, just so that, you know, if you want to change this stuff in the future, you can. I'll tell you, I think what I want here, let's see if this actually works, is get max window x minus 8 times what I'm going to use as the padding, right? And you're like, what's padding? I haven't declared padding yet, but you'll see that one in a sec. Or better yet. Pause. Let's just make it 100. We'll make it 100 right now, just for sanity. All right. We'll change it. We'll change it later. I'll make brick height equals 20, and how about that? How about that? And padding is going to be 2. That's just going to be the space between the bricks, okay? And so here we go. Here we go. I'm going to do this inside a constructor. So when we create, oh, not brick, sorry, game runner. So when we create the game runner object, this is going to happen, all right? This thing is going to get populated, all right? And let's start out with an X value, starting X value, starting Y value, right? What am I doing? What am I doing? How about that? How about that? And then how about a for loop? And here's where the magic happens. I'm going to say brick array index I is equal to new brick. And that new brick is going to have an XY location and a brick width and a brick height. Also needs a color. And what color do you guys want to make it? Blue. Blue's so dark on this. How about green? We'll make it green. Boom. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? All good? All good in the hood. Yeah. Now, some of you can probably see what's going on here a little bit and see that I need to add a little more to this, okay? But let's just leave it there right now and just kind of see how this all works out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this structure, this little for loop structure, and I'm going to take it down to my draw here so that I could basically just draw each brick. Now there's another way to do this, which is probably a little more elegant with like for each iteration, and I can show you that later. But hopefully you guys understand that this is, you know, going to go through all 8 spots in the brick array and draw each brick, right? Does that make sense? All right, run it. Run it. Run it. Still want brick, says Bill. Bill, geez, do you want me to do everything for you? Come on. Guys, is there 1 brick there, or are there 8 bricks? Jonathan says there's 8 bricks in the same location. Well, yeah, we did make 8 bricks actually, but we never changed X and Y, so they're all in the same location. So what do you guys think? After we make a brick, let's change the X value of our brick. Let's say X plus equals the width of the brick, perhaps, plus the padding. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Now when you run that, it doesn't look too bad, does it? Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look perfect though, right? That brick's kind of going off the edge, last one. So you could just mess around with your brick width, right, till it's appropriate. However, as much as possible, you'd like to work in terms of variables so that, like, let's say in the future I want to change the dimension of my screen or something like that. You know, I might want to have it work for something like that. So I think this is going to work here. GDB5 dot get max window X, minus 8, and again, 8 is an arbitrary number. It's probably like it'd be good to have like number of bricks or whatever, bricks per row or something. But anyways, 8 times padding, right? You're going to have to group this whole expression and divide by 8. Divide by 8, I believe. And I think that math is the right math. The comma is just for the next variable, which is brick height. Yeah.
What did you change? Like, for the window?
I made the x value 800 and the y value 900.
Where's the GDP
I thought we got it from the agenda page.
Yes. Or just send it to you.
You got it? Yeah, because
You don't see it? I'll take a look at just one sec here. Guys, so what do you think? What do you think? How does that work out? No, Bill, it's perfect. Two. Make sure you put parentheses around the 8 times padding, right? Or the GD5, that whole expression, right? And then divide by 8. Now, I think this is actually a wonderful place to leave you. We don't have multiple rows, right? So you're going to have to consider how to get multiple rows. Those of you that are familiar with like 2D array structures, oh, whoopsie, that's a 2D array. But those of you that are familiar with 2D array structures and stuff may want to put this into a 2D array structure and think you need a 2D array structure to hold these bricks, but you really don't, right? You can hold all the bricks in a single array because each brick has an XY coordinate location. So all you really need to do is change the XY coordinate locations of the bricks to make them go in different places, whether it's moving them sort of along that line in the first row or else moving them down a row. So now it's up to you to consider when you want to change the Y and X values for each brick as you continue to grow them, as well as how you want to sort of handle maybe perhaps different colors in there and stuff. But I think that's a nice place to leave you and sort of let you start to think and work through this. Any other questions? Let me just show you really quick a nicer way to do this last line here. See this little structure right here? It's a little cooler, I think, if you do this for each iteration. And so it looks like for a brick in a brick iterable object, which is your brick array, for brick B and brick array, you just go b.drawLand, which I think you saw in your loop. Reading. Yes, sir. Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah. So go ahead and enjoy at this point. If you have any questions, then if something's not working, you can come see me or talk to your neighbor or whatever. So I just wanted to introduce this to you before. Oh wait, did my recording stop? Am I still recording? Where's my recording?